Welcome to the Fantasy Football Brothers. Let's meet your host. From the cold and harsh distant land of Mother Russia, lover of romantic walks from his bed to his couch, Boris Wagner. From the sunshine state of California, lover of barbershops and sleeping in, Richard Wagner. Thank you for joining the Fantasy Football Brothers for another episode.
Welcome back to the second part of our 5-part beginner fantasy football series.
Wow, those are a lot of mumbling words.
They were mumbling?
Not mumbling words, but those like a lot of words to get inside of your mouth.
You
at
thought?
One moment.
Wow, yeah, that actually was a lot of words.
Guys, proud of this dude.
Thank you, Boris.
You're welcome.
Welcome in everybody again. If you saw the first episode, first of all, we want to say thank you.
Thank you for coming, and also thank you for coming back.
Yeah, that's amazing. We're recording these back to back, so we.
I hope they are okay with me literally wearing the same clothes.
I think they'll be fine.
Okay.
So we won't be able to answer any of those questions on this show, but hopefully we answer them in the comment section. Hopefully it was a successful launch of our first ever episode.
Yes.
But yeah, this episode. So we in the first episode, if you haven't seen it, we went over the overview of fantasy football, what it is, how to play, how to get started, all the intricate things.
It's just like an overview of what these episodes are going to be, with these next second, third, fourth, fifth episode, and we go a little bit into it. So
yeah. So if you missed that, check that one out. And for check it out. And for this one, we are going to be doing a mock draft.
So you will all see who is the superior brother, who's the taller, prettier, nicer, and has like a better expertise, because when we're going to have our rankings up, hopefully you guys will have those up soon to help you guys in your mock drafts and your actual drafts, and you will see the consensus, right, the overall ones, but then you will see like my ranking and his ranking, and you clearly want to see my rankings, guys. So
yeah, don't believe anything he says.
And we're gonna, at the end of this draft, we'll make a poll on our social media if you guys want to check that out, at the Fantasy Football Brothers, and you guys can vote who do you think has the better team.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing this mock draft on Sleeper. If you are listening to this, I'm gonna be saying all the picks that are gonna be going, and explaining everything verbally. So you will still be able to follow along. If you're watching, though, we're gonna pop that mock draft window up on the screen. So you'll be able to see exactly what we're talking about. And so we're gonna be doing it on Sleeper, and Sleeper's a great place because the other ones, as I know of, like Yahoo, you're doing it against other people, and Sleeper, and you don't get to pick where you pick. Actually, you do.
Oh, by the way,
so when you go to Sleeper, you would just want to type in on Google Sleeper mock draft, and you'll pretty much say create new, and you'll get to this window. Now you should be seeing the window on the screen, and if it seems a little, overwhelming, don't worry. It's not as hard as it seems. It's pretty simple.
It'll just take some time.
Just take a little bit of time, but we'll guide you through that today. So. First thing, let's just break all this down into sections. On the top here, it says 12 team. Now, it might say 10 team, 8 team, 14 team, whatever your draft will be. And that's pretty much telling you how many teams. Then we see this 1.5 PPR. Remember, we talked about that in the first video, meaning when a player catches...
Say 1.5?
Half point PPR.
Come on, bro.
When a player catches the ball, they're going to be getting an extra half point. It shows us how much time there's per pick. It shows us how many rounds. And yeah, on the right here, you can change all of that. So if you go to draft settings, here you can change from half point PPR to PPR or standard, even dynasty or 2QB, but we'll get into that later. The amount of teams, the amount of time per pick. There's also roster settings. So like we said in the first video, there's a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, and a tight end. And usually,
defense and kicker.
But we're not gonna focus on that.
Right.
Usually, you're gonna be going with one quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex spot. And a flex spot is pretty much you can put a wide receiver, a running back, or a tight end into that spot. So it's a really cool thing. Usually it's your wide receiver that's going to be in there because wide receivers tend to get more points, especially the ones you draft in later rounds, and that's who's going to be taking up your flex.
You are right.
Yeah. So on the top here we have the pretty much the squares, and it says 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, all the way down to 11.12 because we're doing 11 rounds, and that's pretty much they're gonna fill up as each player is taking. Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Lindsay.
They're gonna fill up Lindsay as each player is taken.
Sorry, Phillip, because we're gonna fill up you. We're gonna fill up that team a little differently.
We're gonna
this year.
fill up the river.
We're gonna fill up. No. We're gonna fill up you with Melvin Gordon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, Boris is on fire today.
I am
if you
not.
guys
That
haven't
was
noticed.
not the best joke, but you know.
Yeah. So they're gonna fill up as we draft the players, and you'll be able to see, a vertical view of your team and where you drafted them per rounds. Then on the bottom right here, and let's go bottom left. On the bottom left here, we have all the players in the league, right? And you can click this quarterback button, and that'll just show you quarterbacks. Same for running backs, just show you running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, flex. Like we said, that's running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Then you can search for a player. If I like Tom Brady, as we talked about, there you go, boom, he pops up. We have something called the watch list, and the watch list is practically this little star, and if you star this player, right, once I click the watch list, you can see Ezekiel Elliott and Alvin Kamara don't have that star filled in, so once I click it, they should disappear, and they do. And we don't use that too much. We use something, a Q, which we'll talk about in a second. Show drafted, which is practically show all the players who have already been drafted, but you don't really need to do that because you'll see them in the squares. And rookies only, that's good for the very late of the draft if you want like really high upside and you just want to see the rookies.
Like my boy Ruggs.
My boy Henry Ruggs. So on the bottom right, the last thing we're going to go over is that we have this Q thing. Now Q is very, very handy. Let's say you fall asleep cooking pancakes.
It is the sleeper app.
It is a sleeper app.
So it's understandable.
Let's say you fall asleep cooking pancakes as you draft, which you do not recommend. You should
not
be
into
focused.
pancakes that
Okay,
much.
waffles.
Maybe some
Burgers.
Okay.
Whoever you have on the top of your queue will get drafted. So this button next to the star, you click that, and boom, they're at the top of your queue. Click that, boom, top of your queue. You can drag them over and under each other to put a player above or below someone, and you can remove them. So Q is very handy to remember players. Like a lot of the times, remember we talked about ADP and rankings, which we'll get more into
and
today.
see how they show the ADPs.
Oh yeah. Let me talk about that really quick.
Yeah, talk about that.
This is your roster really quickly. So once you start picking players, it'll fill up here. And this is a chat if you want to talk.
Sorry, I just keep hearing the word Phillip.
Rivers.
Okay.
And this is a chat if you want to talk to your league mates and talk trash, which we highly recommend. It brings the fun. Boris doesn't really like it too much, but I'm telling you, it brings the fun.
I do love it, but there's a difference between talking trash to like someone you kind of know or like someone that's kind of your like a friend, But there's another thing where it's like me and you, where we've been together for like, I don't know, the last 21 years, daily, every moment of our lives. So there's like a lot more.
Oh yeah, you're
there's
right.
like a lot of more emotion tied. Like you can say the word "the" and I want to kill you.
Exactly.
At this point.
So this is gonna make for very entertaining shows, guys.
Yes. And if there's some blood, it's probably ketchup. But just putting that out there,
right?
There might be some.
It's ketchup.
Ketchup.
We faked it just for the cops if they ever come and watch our videos.
Yeah.
So very quickly, so this is their projections. So it's gonna project how much total fantasy points they believe that the player will get, and then it says average. So that's average per game. So how it says they think that Christian McCaffrey is gonna get 366.5 fantasy points total,
which does not make sense because my boy Barkley, he barks hella loud. His quads are as big as my whole body. He's going to be the number one dude. Again, guys, all these ADPs and these points, right? The biggest thing that you have to understand is that it's different from place to place. So ESPN might have these projections and ADP completely different.
They will have them completely projections different.
Because people draft players at different positions.
But a quick note, Christian McCaffrey will be number one.
Right, and that's why you're going to win your team when you get Saquon.
Christian
baby.
McCaffrey. So then you have average, like Christian McCaffrey will average 22.9 points per game.
Wow.
You have they're projecting how much rushing attempts they're going to get total, how many yards, touchdowns, receiving attempts total, yards, touchdown. Now
I did not know they have Dalvin Cook literally I mean, third. Even though they have Elliott having more points than him.
Right. Yeah.
Wild.
That is a little weird.
Yeah.
So the next thing is the bye week. The bye week is practically there's 17 weeks in an NFL season, and bye week is pretty much a week where a specific team and most of the time there's multiple teams.
They go on vacation.
Who have a bye that week. They go on vacation, and they don't play that week. So that's very important when you're drafting. Let's say running backs, right? You draft 2 running backs. If they're both on the same bye that week, you're kind of screwed. Well, I don't know what to tell you.
If they're both really good, I feel like you still can get them. But just have in your mind, like, okay, your bench plays.
Don't draft a third running back
third
with
the same bye, because that would severely suck.
Yeah. So this ADP, like we talked about in the first episode, is the average draft position. So we can see that Dalvin Cook's average draft position is the 5th pick, or Zeke's is the 5th, Kamara's the 5th. So this is kind of just the average of where they're going. The rank this is Sleeper's rank. So like Boris said, all different, like Yahoo, ESPN, CBS, all these guys are going to have different ranks and different ADPs. It's very important to make your own rankings or watch our rankings or another buddy's rankings, so you're not confused by these. Right here, me.
Right here, baby.
So let's get into the draft. I think I covered everything, right?
Yeah. So again, a lot of it just depends, but a lot of mock drafts, specifically on sleepers, you can pick your position because you're playing against. You're not going to be playing against others. You're going to be playing against the computer, kind of, tugging and seeing what happens. So what we're going to do, which is like closer to what really happens, is we're going to do dun dun dun.
A randomize.
Right. So then at that point, none of us can say, oh, bro, but like, da-da-da-da.
Wait, out the way, though. Are we able to get Clyde or no?
Right. So the problem with this, again, there's a lot of pluses, but Sleeper still has not updated Clyde Edwards-Helaire's rank. He has him super
They have him
low.
going in the 3rd round, where he honestly should be going in the middle of the 1st.
Right. He's usually going in the 1st.
So we need to make a decision right now. No. I'm going to go no.
So we can't get him at all.
Can't get him at all.
Okay. No Clyde Edwards-Helaire, guys.
Nope.
Just don't make fun of us when we don't have him on our team when we clearly could have.
Yeah. We're just
it just doesn't make sense because he's just, yeah.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
But other than that, Sleeper's pretty good. All the other rankings and ADPs.
Right. Usually it's all good.
Yeah. So let's randomize.
Come on, baby.
Oh,
Come on.
I have the 10th pick.
Okay,
and you
come
have
on,
the 12th
baby.
pick.
Come on. 12th?
Yep.
Oh, man. I can't. Oh, come on.
Okay. So
12 pick.
So
Okay.
let's start this draft.
And again, some people might be like, okay, I love the first couple of picks because you get like those amazing running backs. But there's amazing
Well, let's talk
benefits. Yeah, there's amazing benefits for any position.
Let's
that
talk
you
about the strategy behind here, right? And maybe I'll do it when it gets to my pick. So let's start the draft here. Begin
So
draft.
we're really close to each other, which sucks because we both know what players we both like.
Christian McCaffrey 1, Dalvin Cook 2, wow, Saquon Barkley 3,
Dalvin Cook
Ezekiel
2.
Elliott 4, Derrick Henry
Elliott.
5, Miles Sanders 6, Alvin Kamara 7, Michael Thomas 8, Nick Chubb 9. Okay, so as you can see, there
Michael
are
Thomas goes on the
6,
8th.
7, 8.
Wow.
So 8 out of the first 9 picks are running backs.
Right. That's
So
very important.
What we want to get into your guys' head, right, is that there's only one starting running back on a team. There's only 32 teams, and there's one starting running back on a team. Now, I would say a good 8 of those teams have committees, and a committee is when there's multiple running backs on that team. So let's say you only have 24 good running backs to start, right? As opposed to wide receivers, there's about at least 3 wide receivers per team. So you're looking at 3 times 32, 64, 96.
Ooh, look at
Boom.
this guy's math, bro.
So we're looking at
Check.
96 startable wide receivers. Realistically, it's probably not that. It's probably closer to like 80. Even if it is 80, there's so many more wide receivers you can start than running
So
backs.
many more.
And the same positions need to be filled. So the running backs are going to go off in literally
Yeah,
the
they're
first
just-
couple
There's
rounds.
just definitely like treasure there. It's hard to get good running backs for a good team, so you need to stack on the running backs.
And you need to start too every single week. So
right,
if you
Right,
miss
there's
out on a
another-
running back,
right.
that you're just going to have a hole there.
But sometimes you do have to go with position. Like if on his turn there's a running back that's like okay, and then there's a wide receiver who's like the top 2 wide receivers, especially in your rankings. Like sometimes you just got to push the button and go for those receivers and just try to get the running backs late in the other rounds.
Yeah, so something we want to bring to you guys is tier-based rankings.
Right.
So as much as it is important to fill your holes, you also don't want to be missing out on a guy on studs where you're just picking a worse player just to fill a hole. It's really important because especially in leagues you can trade, so you really want that trade value for the stud just in general. But I'm going to go Josh Jacobs here.
Wow.
Yeah, he's pretty high up as my running backs. There are so many wide receivers.
Man, I am so okay with you doing that,
I love
sweetie.
Later.
I am so okay with you doing that.
Actually, I'm going to pivot now because I know Boris. See, the other person's going to grab Josh Jacobs 100%.
But it doesn't even matter. Like
I'm actually going to grab... I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to grab Josh Jacobs. Next pick, Joe Mixon. Now it's Boris's turn.
Okay, well, again, just as I was saying, so to me, I do have Devontae Adams in a PPR, in a half PPR and standard. Get into this. I have Julio Jones higher, but I think Devontae Adams there's Alan Lazard, there's other players there.
Well, you get
team.
2 picks here, and that's the beauty of picking at the turn. He's going to have 2
right,
picks, but you have to take in consideration that after he makes his second pick,
right? So to me, it's like this:
24 picks are going to go by.
So to me, like this. Yes, I'm probably someone that's like a little opposed to like running back more so than a lot of others. I do believe in like if I can get some superstar wide receivers and then fall back to getting David Johnson and a Bell, which I have them higher, like ranked higher than a lot of other players. Like I'm okay to do that. I'm also okay to honestly here. I know it sounds crazy, but here I'm okay to even go like a Devontae Adams and then a Kelsey. I know it's like early in the draft, but to me to cement a tight end, right? So he can potentially get Julio Jones, which is totally chill. Like, I like also positional advantages. So there's like I said, there's a chess match. Potentially, technically, you want running backs. Running backs is it. Like, you want to get down and dirty with running backs. Like, you want to run with them as they run. But sometimes you want to just go for, like, the best available player. So here, I want to go for, I'm going to go Devontae Adams. Bam. And then... I know, man. It's like my 2-1, so it's early as schmuck. I think I'm going to go with Julio Jones, and I'm going to go Ertz. I'm going to try to go for Ertz on the back end, see if I can get him. So, yeah, that is my play. I don't know, though, because Ertz, does he fall for me at the 5? Probably doesn't fall for me at the 5. You know what? I'm going to go with a player that I haven't gotten in any single draft, and I'm gonna pick him super early.
So getting him in a mock draft will suffice that, Neil.
And thank God Julio Jones did not come.
I'm down for Tyreek Hill.
Oh yeah, Tyreek Hill, which totally is fine.
Tyreek Hill, as much like Boris said as we're going running backs. I have Tyreek Hill above guys like Kenyon Drake, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler.
Right, because there's also overall rankings, right? So there's like running back rankings, wide receiver rankings, right? But then you want to like create like you can see ours in the future and other fantasy football podcasts where you see the overalls, right? You see like an overall, like Adams is clearly ahead of any other running backs that's there. So you want to,
Right. After I grabbed Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes,
Clyde
Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, Kenyon Drake, Lamar Jackson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Hopkins, Kenny Golladay, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, George Kittle, wow, Chris Carson right there. Leonard Fournette, George Kittle, Mike Evans, Le'Veon Bell, Adam Thielen, Melvin Gordon, Chris Carson, James Conner, and then Amari Cooper.
That's my boo-boo.
Now,
That's my boo-boo.
I was really hoping Chris Carson or Leonard Fournette or James Conner fell to me. I'm going to be pretty screwed. See, this is the problem. I hate all these running backs. That's why you want to grab 2 running backs early. And there's so much wide receivers. If you look at the wide receivers, man, Cooper Kupp, to me, wide receiver 1. Allen Robinson, to me, wide receiver 1. DJ Moore, to me, wide receiver 1. These guys, I mean, the the value that you can get in the third and fourth round to wide receivers compared to running back.
I agree with
is
that.
just-
And the thing is this: Miles Sanders was picked on the 1-6. You know, if the guy falls
in the 1-6. What do you
yeah,
mean?
like in the first round,
Yeah.
I'm saying if he falls to me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, maybe I pick him there.
Yeah.
It's
sure,
just
of course.
it just depends on like where the draft is going
Right,
and what
so-
running backs.
So I'm gonna double up here on Cooper Kupp. I have him pretty high in my rankings. So there you go. David Johnson, one pick before Boris. He's probably scratching himself because that's my guy this year.
Oh my God, David Johnson just got picked.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
that is the problem, guys, with going not two running backs early. As much as Boris loves it, you can get very screwed by doing it.
You know what? I'm gonna be freaking crazy right now, and I'm just gonna stack on wide receivers, and I am gonna go for. Wait, how many? No, we have 2 wide receivers. Right?
Yeah.
2 wide receivers. Oh, but we have our flex. Oh, this is so difficult. Like running backs. This is why you do go running backs heavy. I was just not really crazy with the running backs in the first round. So this is tricky. you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, it's hard, man, because Devontae Adams and Travis Kelce are very big beasts.
They are.
But it's just what you're giving up. It probably is a lot. Like, you know. Just,
yeah, I mean, thinking it over.
like
you know,
you would have been fine if David Johnson fell to you, but he
Yeah,
didn't. And
right.
now you're screwed.
No, I might be screwed. Like, I'm not crazy about Todd Gurley, man. Mark Ingram, you know. Like, at this point, I'm just like Cam Akers.
Yeah, but he's never coming back to you.
DeAndre Swift.
If you reach for
No,
him here,
Kareem Hunt.
if
Like,
you reach for them here.
damn, dude. Like, I'm gonna have to go with a Todd Gurley type freaking player. So at this point, I'm gonna go with Allen Robinson. As my next wide receiver. So I have Devontae Adams and Allen Robinson in like a half PPR league. They're gonna be pretty wild. And I'm gonna go with a running back here. I'll just go with Todd Gurley. He's the next best thing here. Why not?
So David Montgomery in between Boris's and my pick, and I'm gonna grab my wide receiver 3, my flex spot actually here, and DJ Moore. I expect really big things for him this year, and I love him. And I'm gonna hope to get a running back right on the way back. So DJ Moore, AJ Brown next, Mark Andrews, Mark Ingram, Juju, Calvin Ridley. Surprised you didn't grab Juju there, Boris. T.Y. Hilton,
No,
Robert Woods,
I do
Keenan
like.
Allen, Odell Beckham.
I'm also thinking like.
DK Metcalf, DJ Shark, Devin Singletary, Tyler Lockett, Raheem Mostert, Russell Wilson, Zach Ertz,
Thank
AJ
God you
Green,
couldn't get him.
Jonathan Taylor.
I'm
all
also
off
thinking
the
the
board.
reason why I got Allen Robinson, right? In my mind, I'm like, these beautiful people are gonna vote, right? Who do I think they're gonna like more? And Juju clearly is like a person in the doghouse right now. People don't really believe in him. I do believe in him. I like him. I think he can easily become, top 10.
No,
But-
this, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
no, for sure.
This is easily where I grabbed DeAndre Swift. I love all these rookie guys coming into the draft. Insane upside. I'm going to grab DeAndre Swift here, submit my running back 2 position. He's not a submit, but I'm going to grab more running back. I'm going to grab a running back probably on my next pick, too. So, oops, I queued him. So DeAndre Swift off the board. Stephon Diggs, now Boris'
I am
turn.
so happy he did that because to me, my baby, like I love this move here. I'm gonna go with Kareem Hunt, which I think he is gonna be a monster this year. Monster, underdog, undervalued, unappreciated. In the last 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, he started little by little, actually outplaying Chubb. So I love him here. I'm going to pick a Kareem Hunt. And because clearly my running backs aren't that strong, so I need, I need a lot of different variations and a big pool of running backs. So I'm going to go with Cam Akers right here.
Deshaun Watson in the middle. Now, really, let's touch on this quarterback thing.
Right, the quarterback thing.
As you can see,
Absolutely.
there's only been 4 quarterbacks and tight ends and 4 tight ends being picked. Now, the reason for that is you only have to start one of them. So there's only 12 quarterbacks and 12 tight ends starting each week, but
Right.
there's 32 starters. And tight ends are a little different, right? Tight ends, we have about 3, 4, 5 of them in the league that are superior, and then everyone else is kind of boom or bust every week, kind of like, oh man, are you gonna get a good week? You're gonna get a not. So that's why
Right.
those 4 or 5 go in the top, and then everyone else kind of filters out. Quarterbacks, same. We have those 2 quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, who have had crazy seasons. And then we have these next 4, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, who have the opportunity to become the best, those Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes types. And then we have quarterbacks going further than that. So,
Right, but the reason why we tend, or a lot of people tend to not pick, the Russell Wilson, the Deshaun Watson in the 5th, 6th round is because, in the 8th, 9th, 10th round, you get a Drew Brees, you get a Tom Brady.
right, and the point differentiation.
Yeah, the point differential is so fractal. That
The point differentiation from Drew Brees and where you can get in like the 9th round from Russell Wilson that you have to get in the 5th
where
round. Drew Brees could literally do
easily
better
be
than Russell Wilson,
right.
as opposed to a guy like Josh Jacobs and the guy I'm getting in the 7th round like Marlon Mack, or who I would get now, Marlon Mack, Ronald Jones. There's no chance that those players ever do even as good as Josh Jacobs.
Right.
So that's why quarterbacks you can wait on, and there's a lot of them. And there's going to be quarterbacks on the waiver wire, which we'll get into later.
Right. But
you
again,
don't even have to draft them.
Sometimes it's okay.
If they fall, I would say if they fall behind value, or you're like, this is my guy,
Right.
I really
if
want
that's
him.
your guy, you definitely don't want to pick them early.
Yeah.
Like to me, the 5-6 with Russell Wilson, that's hella early for him.
Yeah. So it's my pick. The wide receivers, I like Terry McLaurin. I like Marquise Brown. These guys are high wide receiver plays,
Upside,
high
for
upside
sure.
wide receiver plays. But I have I have Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore. I think I'm doing good in wide receivers. Running backs, I would grab a J.K. Dobbins here. I really like him, but I'm gonna wait a little, and I'm gonna see maybe Jordan Howard falls back to me. But I just think there's way too much value here at Darren Waller here at the 6.3. I just think he's the last TE that I'm comfortable playing, other than like Jared Cook. But I think Darren Waller's a whole mile ahead of him. So I'm gonna grab
I
Darren
like
Waller.
that. I like that pick, sexy.
Fill in my tight end position. We have Terry
All right.
McLaurin, Marquise Brown, Kyler Murray, Debo Samuel,
Marlon Mack.
Rob Gronkowski, Brandon Cooks, Ronald Jones, Dak Prescott, Cortland Sutton, Drew Brees,
Damn,
Jarvis
Drew Brees
Landry,
in the 7.
Matt Ryan,
Oh my
Michael
God.
Gallup,
Oh
Devontae
my.
Parker, Julian Edelman. Please not one before me. No one won before me.
Wait,
Oh,
who?
it's my pick.
Wait,
wow. Evan Engram, Josh Allen, Evan Engram, and J.K.
Oh,
Dobbins
Doggins.
fell to me in the
That's
7th.
cool. No, I like that.
Wow, that is a smash play for me. I think he's honestly the last running back here that I would even consider grabbing. Maybe you can say for James White, but just the addition of Lamar Miller, we don't really know how much work he's actually going to get. And Sony Michel's still there. I think J.K. Dobbins has the highest upside out of all of them. In terms of wide receiver,
Respect.
the starting to get to those rookies, which I will start grabbing. And in terms of quarterbacks, I like the guys down there way more than anybody there, so I think J.K. Dobbins is a smash pick for me. Okay, and Kerryon Johnson, and now it is Boris's pick.
Yeah, after re-looking at my team,
That's Boris's team right there.
don't like it that much, not crazy about it. I still think we have some potentials, some high upside, like if Todd Gurley's knees holds up, we're good. If Chubb gets injured, holy moly. If Cam Akers actually becomes a starter and kills, it's killer season, so I have some potential. One guy I'm going to have to get... See, this is the issue of not getting 2 running backs in the first round, is having to then to get a lot more running backs, more than you probably want to in the later rounds, just so you can, level the playing fields and hope like if one doesn't do good, then you can have another dude there. So I'm gonna go with Jordan Howard, and I'm gonna go for a wide receiver, and I am gonna go with my boy Tyler Boyd. Even with AJ Green playing 2 years ago, he had over 1,000 yards. I think with my homeboy Burrow coming in, I think he's gonna have a great season. So I like Boyd as a flex option there. So I'm gonna go with my boy Boyd.
Tyler Boyd off the board. Right after that, Sony Michel. So let me go back to my team.
So clearly, Sony Michel's on the pulp list again. Probably won't get picked up there, but that's why we do this.
I don't think he's going. I think he's going to play, and I think that is maybe around later. But I think somewhere there he will get picked. I would have taken him if I needed
yeah, but
a running back.
clearly, people shouldn't listen to you.
So here I am, as much as I like, actually,
See, like to me, your team,
uh-huh,
I like the wide receivers, right?
uh-huh,
Like the T.
right,
But my problem is right now, the way I look at it, DeAndre
Uh-huh.
Swift and J.K. Dobbins could potentially like
right.
not do it for you.
Of course, and all of your 3 running backs cannot do it for you.
I have four.
I
Sweetie, I have four.
I love DeAndre Swift and J.K. Dobbins, and I think because they're rookies, yes, they might not start off hot, but I think by a little bit they will. And I'm actually looking at these wide receivers, honestly going to take another running back, a guy named James White, who I think will give me that beginning of the week. It's just some floor if those guys aren't playing too much. So I'm gonna grab James White here to finish my
I
running
like
backs.
that. I like
practically.
that.
Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, Will Fuller, Philip Lindsay, Emmanuel Sanders, Deontay Johnson, Hunter Henry, CeeDee Lamb, Marvin Jones, Latavius Murray, Christian Kirk, Carson Wentz, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Jared Cook, Alexander Madison, Keyshawn Vaughn, Darius Lane, and it's my pick. I have a wide receiver above everybody here. He is a rookie. I'm going pretty rookie heavy here, but I think that he has tremendous upside. And since I have my wide receivers filled up pretty much with Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, and DJ Moore, I like this guy's upside. I'm going to grab Henry Ruggs, which is going to let Boris grab his boy Deshaun Jackson on the way back. But pretty much on these later picks. So on the first picks, you want to go as safe as possible, right? You want to really avoid those risk-adverse players because in the later rounds, there's going to be a lot.
That's when you can go for them high upside players.
Upside, yep. So Henry Ruggs is a really high upside player, and I think
I do love him. I have him in a lot of leagues.
Yeah, smash pick right here. Tyler Higbee in the middle, and now it's Boris's turn again.
And for me, I do need a quarterback, but these quarterbacks to me are like, I could get Ben, I could get Stafford. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Running backs at this point, I could go Gibson, which Gibson has some good upside. And in the round 9, that's probably like the soonest I'll ever get Gibson, especially with Geis leaving. Again, I might be giving you so much facts and other stuff, but bear with me and you guys comment whatever you guys need.
Through the season, you guys will be learning more about these players,
right,
and getting more insight on who they are.
Right. So for me, with the clear high upside player, I'm gonna go with the Deshaun Jackson at the 9. I think he's so underappreciated. And I'm gonna go with my boy Antonio Gibson. I think he's a stud. He can play wide receiver and running back, and again, in a point per reception, even half or full, he potentially can be an insane pick. So I am gonna go with Gibson and try to get another quarterback later on. So
I think that's a solid pick. McCole Hardman in the middle. And I have 4 running backs, so I'm not really looking for running backs. I think I'm just going to grab another wide receiver. Yeah, that's the problem with going no running backs early.
But another reason, if 2 of them pan out, my running backs, then and the other ones actually do pretty good too, then I have a lot of trade value. So there's a lot of.
I'm going to grab Jamison Crowder here.
Great pick, great floor.
He's going to be great floor. Also, maybe some ceiling there, being the wide receiver 1 on that team. So I'm going to grab Jamison Crowder, Hayden Hurst, Matthew Stafford, Daniel Jones, Gerald Henderson, Noah Fant, Tariq Cohen, Austin Hooper, Tony Pollard, Jerry Jeudy, Dallas Goedert, Darius Geis, Chase Edmonds, John Brown, Sterling Shepard, Zach Moss, Sammy Watkins, Mike Williams, Baker Mayfield, and it is my pick. And that's why we wait for quarterback late, because Ben Roethlisberger, Cam Newton, Burrow, all those, Phillip Rivers, I love all those guys. I have Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger or Cam Newton's a hard choice. I'm sure Boris will grab the one I don't grab. That's potentially, but it's a really hard choice for me. And I think Ben Roethlisberger's, even though he was injured, is a little more safe here. Cam Newton going on a completely new team. So I think I'm gonna grab my boy Ben Roethlisberger.
I agree.
Oh wow, Cam Newton in between me and his pick,
which is fine, because if I wasn't gonna get any of those 2 picks,
but were
it
you
might
gonna
not
go
be.
Cam Newton?
I don't know. I was 50-50 because Cam Newton, as much as we love to say he's going to get that starting job, I mean, we don't know what New England ever does. They're the most unpredictable team in the entire world, and they get the wins no matter what. I was maybe going to go for Joe Burrow And to me, I still like that because I picked Joe Burrow here, and if he doesn't pan out, I still have Phillip Rivers, I have Bridgewater, Minshew.
Yeah.
So I have all these other players.
Look how many quarterbacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Jared
8,
Goff,
9, 10,
Cousins.
11, 12, 13.
Right.
13 starting quarterbacks that we know are going to start are still going to be on the waiver wire.
Right.
That's why you really want to wait on those quarterbacks and grab them late.
So I'm going to do a non-sexy pick, but might pan out for me. If not, just drop him and pick maybe my boy Goffy Goff. So I am going to pick my boy Joe.
So to round out our teams, I have Ben Roethlisberger as my quarterback. I have Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, and James White as my running backs. Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, DJ Moore, Henry Ruggs, and Jamison Crowder as my wide receivers, and Darren Waller as my tight end. Boris, who do you got?
I have. It's harder for me to. I
can
have.
do it for you if you want.
Okay, so I have Joe Burrow as my quarterback. He's my quarterback. Then I have Todd Gurley and Kareem Hunt as my 1-2 punch.
Who are your other running backs?
Not the sexiest. You know what I
But
mean?
you-
Then
but
I
you
also
also-
have Jordan Howard, Cam Akers, and Antonio Gibson. Which hopefully at least just 2 of them. Please, just 2 of them do good for me. This is just a mock. It's not gonna happen, but wide receivers, I have Devontae Adams, Allen Robinson, which I love those wide receivers. Tyler Boyd, Deshaun Jackson. As my tight end, Travis Kelce. Dude, if I couldn't do it on my regular drafts, let me just have this. Because this guy has Travis Kelce in almost every league. I don't know how this guy got him, but thank God I can get him in one league. And then I have Joe Burrow as my quarterback. I think I might have said that. But that is it.
Yeah.
So vote for who you guys think.
Yeah, we're going to put up a poll, and
I think you might win this one.
Hopefully we gave you guys
don't
some
know.
good strategies to implement in your drafts and gave you a little rundown. And next episode, we're actually going to convert this to a league, which is an awesome setting here where you can literally convert it to a league. And we're going to go through, the waiver wire, trades, all these things. So come back next episode to get more on what we do next. And this has been the Fantasy Football Brothers with another episode, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for joining the Fantasy Football Brothers for another episode. Visit our website at thefantasyfootballbrothers.com. Check us out on social media at the Fantasy Football Brothers. See you next time.